Are you ready, YouTube? There you go. I think you're ready for me, YouTube. There you go. You come right in. What's up? Man, drag him over here. 2 minutes. Go ahead. Give him pep talk. Yes. So we actually got the man right there himself. The man of the hour. I ain't nobody compared to him. He's the best one you ever gonna see ever teach this information. I ain't stop. Yes, we're here. I miss y'all, YouTube land. I had to give y'all a break. I've been on Facebook Live. Brother Polite. I've been on Facebook.com/brother POLIGHT.com. Okay, we got my brother right here, brother Jeffrey, who's gonna help us out with the day trading. So we're gonna talk about real estate. We're gonna talk about day trading. And this is gonna be a whole lot of fun. So I got you here. I'm gonna need you to move up. Can you give me one of the smaller chairs? Maybe we could make more space of it like that. I want to make sure I can get you over here too for the Facebook camera. You know, I have to be innovative over here, get them working at the same time. I'm not going to waste too much more of your time with getting organized. It's just that I'm working on YouTube and I'm working off of Facebook. And I wanted to make sure. I think we're pretty good, babe, unless you can get it real quick. No, chair like this one. That's huge. Yeah, so this is the brother Jeffrey. I had to get him here live. He showed me, he put me onto a whole lot of game. This man is very proficient when it comes to day trading. I've literally watched him do some magical things right before my eyes. And of course, magic is just based on a lack of understanding and something that someone else excels in. That's all the magic is. And so I want y'all to be hip to the magic. And what makes it magical for you is that most of our community have this disconnect for this type of information when it comes to real estate and when it comes to day trading. As I tell y'all, you shouldn't learn nothing about real estate before you learn about UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. And a prerequisite to that is understanding what? The security agreement. You shouldn't learn nothing about doing the UCC until you understand what a security agreement is. People tell you about UCC and never mention the word security agreement. That's weird. People talk to you about real estate and know nothing about UCC. That's also crazy. So I want to get you guys hit to the nuances and that which is prerequisite before executing these tasks. Those of you in YouTube world, let me let you know that I do have the mentorship programs. They do cost. Go to brotherpolite45@gmail.com if you're interested in being mentored. I coach you 12 days out the month, 3 days out the week, 30 minutes at a time. And those 30-minute sessions are comprised of the days of the week in which our schedules are the most compatible. It ranges based on 3 income, 6 income, or 9 streams of income. And then we also have modified renditions of the mentorship because we have very new program opportunities for people. So it's very unique programs, particularly for Facebook. We got a very unique income generator for Facebook that nothing's topping at this particular point. I've been rocking it. It's real great. So now I'm sharing the information to work with other people. While we do this, we're going to go into some real estate for you. We're going to go into day trading. Let me switch this chair. We're going to go straight to work. Glad that y'all here. I miss y'all. Glad that you all out there. I miss y'all. Make sure you share this video. Of course, when we start getting into the nerdy stuff, you know, we're not going, you know, people don't go around and spread the information like they spread gossip when it comes to us actually developing something of huge interest when it comes to Black economics and just economics in general, I should say. I want to talk to y'all because, like I said, we can't cash in melanin. No matter how much I stroke your ego and tell you how beautiful melanin is and how special it makes you in contrast to other people, you can't pay the rent with that melanin information. You can't pay the rent with the UFO information. But at some point or the other, you got to realize if you're talking about Black liberation, if you're talking about the revolution, the most revolutionary thing you could do is become an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you become a master of your own destiny. I never professed to be Mr. Super Black Power, but so many people critique me, call me a coon, and call me so many other names, but my children don't go to public school. I'm in control of their curriculum. Okay, they're not subject to vaccinations. I give them the holistic health alternative. My children were not born in a hospital. My children were born at home, not under halogen lights. That's a shock to the central nervous system of the child and destroy the divinity of that child before they even get a chance to take their first breaths or be held by their own parents. First people to ever hold my child was myself and then the mother, not someone of another race. And they were born under or to light by candle, fire, light that actually biologically embeds. See, that's Black power. And my children didn't go to public school. My children were not born in hospitals. And I am an entrepreneur, and my wives also are entrepreneurs. We work for self. That is the scariest thing you could ever do. Revolution, you talking about revolution? Revolution is not knowing how much you're going to get paid from one week to the next, except for knowing it's a matter of your creativity to survive from one day to the next. As creative and as hardworking as you are will be the determining factor if you can survive from one day to the next. That's revolutionary, family. That's revolution. Keep that in mind. So if you're interested in the mentorship, you go to brotherpolite45@gmail.com. and we'll talk to you. Of course, mentorship costs. I always have to say this to people when people call you, yo, can't be for free, brother. I say, can't be. I talk to too many people for free. That would be wild. I only could talk to 24 people for an hour, 48 people for 30 minutes, or 96 people for 15 minutes each out of the day. And that would mean there's no space to cook, clean, wash up, teach my children, be a husband to my wives. There would be no time left. So I have to qualify the time that I'm spending throughout the day. So that's why I charge for mentorship, and that's why I also charge for consultations. Okay, but the mentorship is a program, and we go hard with that. What I want to introduce to you is the new information that's also going to be incorporated into the mentorship program. We also have courses that's going to come out. Okay, be sure to look out for the course. All right, go to IamBrotherPolite.com. You're going to see day trading and real estate. My brother is going to take some time out and he's going to coach y'all, but he's going to give us some free game. You know why? Because he don't need to waste time teaching you that stuff during the course. He going to get you up to speed here with the free class. So when you go to class, he just go straight to work. Take a look at this, take a look at that, and show you what it is. Because again, this is a huge disconnect, and this is another language, and we have to become fluent in several languages. And we talking about the language of several different streams of commerce or income. And this is one language that many of us not only are not fluent in, we are totally oblivious of. Okay, let me get this chair here. Let me move this out the way. Get a smaller one. Yeah, that should work. Let's see how we do this. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can get this thing down. There we go. There we go. Now we talking. Should have some space now, my brother. We should have some space now. Yeah, bring it in. Bring it in. Now we good. So I'm glad to see y'all here on Facebook. We out here in the hundreds. Love to see y'all here on YouTube. And it's time to start this free class on real estate and, dare I say it, day trading. Let's get you into the day trading. I want to ask my brother, so did you go to school to learn about day trading?
Yes, I did go to school to learn. Day trading is a continuing learning process, just in general. It's just like life. So, I mean, what you, like Brother Polite has been telling everybody, once you tap into wanting to build yourself, you realize that life within itself is just a continuous education.
That's what's up. What do they call it? Did you major in school in day trading, or what's the name of the class? How does that work for people that are aspiring and maybe going to school? What do they look for?
Well, I mean, you could go into the path of finance. A lot of the things that you'll find in criteria is in finance. And within that, you find a slew of different economic courses and so forth that could tailor to yourself. But every individual have things that's tailored for them, and you will know once you get in the classes which class pretty much works for you. But there's a lot of different classes and courses that you can take that will well-roundedly put you in a right path to be able to obtain wealth Brother Polite been explaining to everybody to get off the clock.
Okay, okay. And so, you know, I'm just looking to see what the people may have to ask as well. And now let's do this very basic. What exactly is day trading in the first place? What exactly is day trading?
No, what day trading is pretty much breaking down the economic system into a form to where you make financial profits per day. So that would mean that you're in and out of trades per day. That could go from a slew of minutes, hours, or seconds, depending on your, I guess you can say, your stomach and true desire. Everybody has to have a why. So once you find out what your why is and your purpose, I mean, that pretty much builds the field for how you're going to tailor your day trading.
Okay, now we got to keep in mind, and I want y'all to keep in mind that my brother said early on, Brother Polite, this is what you do. This is, you know, this online speaking to thousands of people at a time, 250,000 people subscribe to my app, 150,000 plus follow me on Facebook, 100,000 on Instagram. This is your world. So walk with me, people. Walk with us as we loosen my brother up to connect with y'all. So I'm going to talk to you right now, and I don't know a damn thing about day trading. And everything you just said makes sense. I just don't understand it. So what we got to do now is say, I'm going to ask you to say that again. I am a neophyte. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. What is day trading?
Okay.
Do I day trade on the phone? Can I get a job and apply for day trading? What exactly is day trading? And I'm doing my best to find out on the most minuscule scale how to understand what day trading is.
Got you. Okay, so pretty much what day trading is, breaking it down, would be you actually learning the market. The market is the stock market, which is the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, etc.
That's good, because plenty of times before I used to go to school in the morning, I used to see those things running, the information running at the bottom of the screen. And I was young and saying to myself, something's going on. I just can't quite put my finger on it. And many of you felt like that when you was going to school. You saw at the bottom of that screen information sliding through during the morning time. And you know what we did after a while? We just ignored it. After a while, we just said, man, but you was one of those people who in time mastered this information, decoded it, sorted it out. But many of us just knew it's something to it. But the way that they formulate the conversation, the jargon, the verbiage that's associated with that is almost as though it is put out there in code to distract, hinder, and maybe even intimidate many people in which that information isn't as affluent or normally circulating in the community. So now we're starting to get somewhere. So you said NASDAQ, Dow Jones. You said these are the markets.
Right. Correct. You have the financial market. I mean, and it's the crazy thing about it is it's things that we do on a regular. I mean, to be honest, we're the individuals as a people that's actually making the markets work. And the market is pretty much the mechanisms of what we do on a daily basis by where we take our where we take our money, where we spend it at, and so forth, what we buy, and so forth. So that's pretty much the market.
Yes.
Then we have also the financial market as well, which the financial market is pretty much the same thing, something that we do. What do you bank at? Who do you bank with? And it ties into a way of ways where you could actually make money.
Thank you. Yes, sorry about that. My daughter, even though I texted her, I said I'm all live, she still had to talk to me. So, okay, so we covered the fact that we got an understanding of the market. You said this is pretty much us. I want you to expand or elaborate in greater detail. What part of us is influencing the market, especially as it relates to like its algorithms or being able to anticipate different rates and changes that's taking place?
Well, I mean, pretty much we are the market. And what I mean by that is if you really sit back, what is trend, right? We are trend. We are the trend. We actually drive the actual markets ourselves. We do it on a daily basis. It's just the fact that on the flip side, what it is that they have studied us for so long that they have learned to be able to make profit off of us. Because like Brother Polite has also indicated before, is just pretty much where we spend our money at. Who do we spend our money with? You know, it ties back to, you know, a lot of different things that we do and we do unconsciously. For example, when I say trend, a lot of individuals may right now have a pair of Michael Jordans or a pair of, you know, Yeezys, or they may bank with certain banks or institutions. They may have to pay fees for overdraft fees, etc. You know, individuals may take flights to different locations and they may go with a certain airline. This is the market. And I mean, pretty much what we're doing is we're actually, instead of spending the money on the front end, we're learning how to spend the money on the back end with the businesses. So pretty much what we do is we join forces with the actual companies, if you will, because we become shareholders. And when you become a shareholder, you pretty much become, you can say, part owner of that company. So like if you bought into Apple, for example, you owned a few shares. At that point, you become a shareholder. A shareholder would be a person that actually partake in that company. So you're no longer just a consumer, you're an owner.
Okay. So where's the fun part? Because when I see you doing it, you look like you're having fun. You be in your phone and you don't come out for air. You show me some stuff and I'm like, wow, whatever that means, right? So I stop. So you show me things periodically and I see points, right? And like, for instance, there's Facebook. Facebook seems to be something that you deal with
Absolutely
quite a bit. Give us an example of what's taking place on Facebook that's making you money.
Okay, like for example, Facebook, Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg within itself. It's something that I find that we spend a lot of our time on. I have children that actually check their Facebook pages probably more time than they do anything else. So it pretty much brought attention to me earlier on that this looks like it's going somewhere. So what I pretty much did was, on the early stage of Facebook, I bought in on Facebook. And this is when Facebook initially IPO'd. And
what's the IPO?
IPO is an initial public offering.
And what is that?
That's when it actually goes public to the actual market in order for people to buy on the public traded stock exchange.
Got you. All right. And so you invested in Facebook, and how much was the shares around that time?
At that time, Facebook IPO'd, it was roughly like around $38 a share when it went public.
And what medium did you use to invest in Facebook? What app, or did you go to an institution?
Yes, and there's a number of institutions that you can go to, from TD Ameritrade to Scottrade, etc. That you go to, which is considered a broker, which in order to enter into the public market, you have to have a broker. And you have to go through a broker, which is an exchange, which actually allows you to actually buy and sell or trade actually on the actual open market.
Many people bring up Forex every time you talk about day trading. I'm sure people I've seen it swim across Facebook and YouTube. What's the distinction amongst Forex?
Okay, well,
in the other mediums that you just discussed, if any?
Forex is a little bit different. Not too big of a difference. It's just from a financial standpoint, and it's a different market time that you can actually trade on. The spread is a little bit different, and it's a little bit more complex than your basic buy and share of shares, based on the fact that depending on your market cap that you're entering into the market, your spread becomes different. So for example, you may go in with, let's just say this, starting off, you would typically want to go in when you're day trading with a margin account. Within a margin account, depending on who your broker is, the minimum that you would have to start your margin account would be $25,000. Okay, so and within that, gives you a spread. So when you're dealing with certain spreads, you're leveraging your money 2 to 3, sometimes 10 times the actual initial amount that you have invested. So it gets kind of, I know a lot of people, they say, what's up with the Forex? Because I mean, Forex, it's definitely a moneymaker. But at the same time, I would recommend for individuals that have no knowledge at all for stocks to kind of understand stocks first, the basics, the principles, before you actually dive into a little bit different water. Because within Forex, you have a little bit more hiccups and mistakes that you can kind of not come back from, if you will.
Wow.
If you don't know what you're doing.
So to preference, what would you use?
Well, for the foreign exchange, pretty much what I do is I actually just buy Forex, different companies, which is on the foreign exchange as well. And what I would do is I would pretty much buy certain things that, again, I can relate to. You first and foremost, as an investor, you want to always have some type of understanding on what you're investing in. So, I mean, when you're dealing with Forex, you want to kind of pretty much get a round base of where you want to start at and where and what you're targeting. And then you want to pretty much know as much about it as possible. Because the thing about Forex is that we're in America, right? So if you're not doing your homework, it can hurt you.
Okay. All right. Sounds like we're getting somewhere. Sounds like we're getting somewhere big time. And I want to thank you for just giving us insight. So when you first started buying into Facebook, how much was the shares about roughly when you got in on an early opportunity?
That's correct. Well, when I bought in on Facebook, I kind of got in it kind of at the last second because I kind of realized that it was opportunity there. So I kind of got in around that $38 mark, and I kind of watched it come down. And at that time, I found myself like
$38 a share.
Yeah, it's $38 a share. So pretty much what that would mean is to mass one share, it would take $38. It went from $38, I want to say, down to like 16 and some change. And at that point, I actually went in and bought more, which
this is the interesting part,
correct.
Because many people would get scared if they see it goes down. They probably would sell.
That's correct.
What would make you buy more when you see? And I see you do this quite often. You would say, "Look, people will sell during this time because it's going down." But you tell me, there's the algorithms, there's the EDs and flows, and understanding that there will be an up. You know what I'm saying? And so, explain that part, because that's the part of it that makes it fun for me. That's the part that gets my adrenaline going.
So, for example, what made me buy in was just I had strong conviction. I did my homework, and it's just like anything else. When Michael Jordan missed a few jump shots, he didn't stop shooting. You know, he would say at halftime, "Man, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. The shot just isn't going in." So pretty much when you're doing everything to a T, and it's not working, it doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It just means that your timing hasn't came yet. So within that, I had just had a strong conviction. I did everything right. I had did a lot of reading, a lot of analyst reports and so forth, a lot of charting to kind of in pretense see where the market cap was and so forth. They kind of gave me strong conviction to say, you know what, this company has a lot more longevity than a lot of these analysts are saying. You know, and I mean, a lot of times analysts, what they do is they pretty much have a tendency to help sway the market by going on different platforms and saying, hey, buy this company or don't buy this company, just for them to do the opposite. So pretty much when Facebook went down, I went to buy more. And a lot of people was just like, man, Jeff, you're crazy. You're like, this stuff is like, it's just like MySpace. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, no, I really don't believe so, because the platform within itself, again, when you watch people, probably even yourself, how many times do you check Facebook? We may check Facebook more than we check any other source of revenue for news, for whatever, right? Just our general inspiration comes from that platform. So within that itself, this was before Facebook had so many different integrated platforms for you to actually even do. I foresaw that opportunity, and that's what I invested in.
Okay. I mean, remember, family, this is just introductory. Our brother's going to actually show you what's going on during live market hours, right? So we're going to have that going on, okay? While the market is open, he's going to show us some things. This is just introductory for people so you could play it back, do your own research, and make sense of it based on what he's talking about. I'm doing my best to peruse through that which he knows by just asking him very basic questions. And I'm also looking online to see what it is that you're asking. Again, this is just a gift because this is not a conversation that's frequent in our community. All right. We don't have these conversations. We have the white man's the devil conversation quite often. We have the kill the cracker information constantly circulating. We can't really monetize off of it. You're talking about consumerism, polite and materialism. We just waiting for the system to fall. If all black people just quit their job right now, everything will go to hell. I just want to talk to you about something very pragmatic. That is not going to happen no time soon. So because we understand this, I'm saying let's have some of these conversations that we have not had and that many of our spokesmen or our orators are not privy to the information, right? Because we've popularized a certain type of rhetoric. And now one generation after the next learns how to pronounce that same rhetoric better and better each generation, which means the disconnect for this knowledge continues. It perpetuates itself from one generation to the next. So we're actually getting further and further away from the very thing that we say we need to evade, which is poverty, which is the state of dependency on other races, which is the inability to erect our own institutions, such as schools, such as hospitals, such as banks. Well, you know what? We won't get there if we don't learn this type of information. This is the information that makes the world go around. So even when we talk about real estate, I have to go into and definitely get those UCC courses. I have to go into the nuances of that particular culture, the real estate culture. Because understand, even when you go to school to learn real estate, they don't teach you to be a boss. They teach you to get employed by someone else that's the boss. So you'll never have a hold or a fix on the information that you truly need to facilitate in the capacity in which you need to be free. Okay, so we always talk to you about what? Establishing a fee simple relationship with your property, making sure that you are not considered a debtor by presumption, a debtor via UCC 9-105 in parentheses D, can only conditionally own property. And we understand the condition is when the institution or the seller solicits the sale of that property. Unbeknown to you, somebody else will have a vested interest in that property. So who you see doing the transaction with you or who's representing the institution, they don't let you know that there are several other people banking in on the debt. That's called a conditional interest. And of course they would do it because the presumption of law stipulates if you go along with it, then it must be true. Okay, and this takes you into another terminology called the presumption of the item sonance. Now, some people say, man, how can we revoke a claim as such if I come into the know later on, but when I didn't know, I conceded to this thing being true or being the right thing? Isn't that contradiction? No, it's not. In law, we call that nunc pro tunc. Now for then, it's all about conversation. 95% of any business is conversation. And love is law and family is business. Since family is business, 95% of your family structure is reliant upon great communication. All right. So we're going to go back to this information. I'm speaking as much as I can, as fast as I can, because I know you can rewind this. So that's why I'm speaking at this pace, not to confuse anybody. So you had the conditional interest. It's always about committing to memory the things that you need to survive. Like, for instance, if you was defending yourself, what do you do? What do you say? We understand this, and this is why I'm going to take you into UCC. The reason why UCC was erected was so we can save time from having to go to court. In law, what is court? Court is the paperwork. The courtroom is the place where we discuss the paperwork. You got it? Court is the paperwork. The courtroom is the forum in which we discuss the paperwork. So this is why we say your paperwork shall always precede you. Therefore, you will not be picking up conversation from where the accuser begins, but where you left off before you even step into the forum. So that's why somebody, if it was a criminal situation, they say, do you understand the nature of these charges? We'll say, I understand the nature of these charges, but not how they apply to me. Well, how do you plead? I'm not here to make pleas nor plea bargains. I'm here to challenge the court on the grounds you lack jurisdiction over organic living soul. Then they may turn around and say, well, we're going to put a plea in for you anyway. And then I'm going to say objection. On the grounds you lack jurisdiction over organic living soul make you violation of Article 3 of the Supreme Laws of the land. See, I'm never going to forget these things. I had to use these things to save my life at one point or the other. But the thing is this, we have to make culture out of the things that can save our life, that has been tried, proven, tested, and actually works. Why was all of this necessary for real estate? Because you also consider property. That's another conversation, transmit and utility lien. Whole nother conversation. I'm going to take you back to real property, real estate, right? And what I'm going to do is tell you this. Your paperwork has to precede you. The reason why UCC was set up, the Bible of Commerce, the reason why it was set up is so you don't necessarily have to go to court and spend all the fees. Because if you know how to put into proper context the relationship you have with a company that you are under or a liaison for. And the reason why I say this is because you want to control everything, own nothing. So your trust, as an example, will be the creditor and you will be the debtor. You'll be working on behalf of the trust. You do everything on the largesse of the people by way of the trust. Why? Because you want to control everything and own absolutely nothing. So the way that the trust works, we're going to do this like scripture. God created the whole world. All you have to do is follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments. When you follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, you get an entitlement. Your entitlement is the land, right? For one generation to come after the other. Where does this all come into place? We're going to see this in the same context of the trust. Well, there's the prophet. The prophet is the medium. He's the liaison, officially from God to man. He knows God exists. Everybody else has this thing of speculation. He's the one walking around telling you God exists. I spoke to him. I went to the mountain. He always come back with the tablets, the stones, the revelations. Everyone has to take his word for it. You know, oh, the angel Gabriel came, say, Ikra, in the name of your sustainer. Read in the name of your sustainer. Always somebody bears witness. Everyone else is not there. He comes and tells everybody else, listen, I may not be able to read, but my nigga, this book is good. Whatever the case is, that's how this thing goes down. Well, the same thing is suggested by way of the trust. Okay, there's the settlor and the trustee, or the grantor or the grantee. Okay, the trust or the trustee, the oblig or the obligee. These are different terms that are pretty much synonyms for the same. So what happens is the settlor or the trustor or the grantor, that's the creator of this world, or the trust. The trust is the world. Okay, the trustor is the God head. The creator, the ones who wrote the provisions, the laws, the statutes, and the codes, how this law is going to go. And the trustee's job is to see to it that the trust never accumulates any negative asset value. This is all real estate information, okay? So, because a trust is property held on behalf of one so that another may benefit. That's what a trust is in short, in its most concise form or in the synopsis. Property held on behalf of one so that another may benefit. So now we have the trust, and we're saying to ourselves, the creator is the trustor. Okay, or the grantor, or okay, or the obligor, but we ain't really gonna use that. That's more when we get into the UCC. So the trust, we have the settlor. That's the creator of the laws, statutes, and commandments, or the provisions of the trust. And the trustee knows, okay, I'm gonna follow the will and pleasure of the one who created the trust. Once the trustee comes into play, their job is to fulfill the will and pleasure of one who created the trust. Now, the creator is obsolete. No need for him. The rules are set in place. All we need is a trustee. So people come around, so who created this trust? Not necessary. Who's running the trust? Trustee. It was given to the trustee to teach all the other parties that will be involved with the trust so that they may benefit from it, or particularly the beneficiaries. So when you follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, it gives you land. And the land can be inherited by way of the posterity that comes thereafter. Same thing with the trust. You follow the statutes of the trust, and those that are involved with it, or those that are considered beneficiaries, will benefit thereafter. Okay, same concept. And the reason why this is done is so you can evade liability legally. So the trust is considered a person, like any other company. So the trust is considered a person, minus the flesh and blood. Your company is considered a person. Then watch what's going to happen. that person needs to correct their status. What is status? Etymologically, if you look up the word estate, it means ranking or status. So status is a state. So the person's status, you think we're talking about people changing their rank in society, and we're talking about the company working on behalf of the flesh and blood. The company is considered a person. Status is a state. So the person changing status is the relationship between the company and the real property. That is a status correction. Because you want to rectify this matter that you are a debtor. But what you're going to do is behave as a debtor to your trust, which will be the creditor, which will do the purchases, which will now embark upon the acquisition of property, real property, that is. You do this for the purposes of establishing what's called a perfected claim, which is a form of a lien, a first in time, first in line. Whoever has the first lien, no one could come after that and say, man, this person owes me. So if your trust has a lien on your properties, then, and you don't own it, the trust owns it, but you're in debt to the trust. You control everything as far as the trust is concerned. If the trust owns it, you control it, but you don't own it, the trust does. So this puts them in a quandary in law. And this quandary was created on purpose to remove you from liability. It's because you want to control everything, own nothing. But when we call, we want our name on every single thing. We think that's wealth. As we get older, we realize, man, I got to protect my name. So guess what? Your business has like a social security number. They probably call it EIN or a TIN. Your business is considered a person, whether it's an S Corp, Type B, gift company, LLC. It's considered a person or legal person or legal fiction or fiction. All of those are the same words, or entity, right? So the company is considered a person. It has a number just like a social security, and it also can get credit just like you. The whole reason for all of that is so you don't have to be involved. But just like they give you cars that do 120 miles per hour and speed limits that never exceed 75 miles per hour, there's always the temptation to do the wrong thing. That's how this works. So they'll let you have your own ability to establish credit through your own profile. But then there's this thing going on where the company's considered a person, and it also has its own number, same numbers as your social security, but it's not a social security number. And it also can get credit, like a DUNS number. Okay, you can start, getting credit by way of the company. So the reason why I'm discussing these things, very important information, because you're going to reap certain real estate and tax benefits when you know better than using your own personal name and creating personal accounts to generate revenue. Why is this important? Many of us are not even aspiring to make real money. So who gives a damn about taxes? But then we realize on your first million, they're going to take about $350,000 on the first million. So your first million doesn't even exist. Even if they allow you to keep the first million, it doesn't exist. You make your first million on your second million. At any given time, they can put the brakes on any one of us for taxes. Most of y'all out there, they just wait to see if you get successful, because then there's interest that's accrued from one year to the next. That's how that works. So they just like to see you play yourself for a long period of time, and then they come in on you. Like, hopefully you do become a success and you do break through the planes that they created for you to fail. And should you do that, they got it all set up for you to go back down where you started from, because you probably wasn't taught the technical aspects of success. So we know wealth begins at $150,000 a year, and poverty begins for a family of four at $32,000 a year, and for an individual at $15,000 a year. There's an over $100,000 gray area space, wherever you want to call that. But the 5% is 5% of the people in the nation make $150,000 a year. And it's incumbent that everybody is supposed to be able to invest at least 1/3 of their annual income, which would be 50 grand. Is the starting point for you to be able to invest and grow any kind of wealth or amass wealth. This is not me saying this. You study Standard & Poor's, S&P index. You can see what they're talking about with their projections for the future. So we want to consider all these things. So now we're back to real estate, and we know if we're dealing with property, we want to be able to protect the assets. So we want to set up a trust. And the reason why we want to set up a trust, we're going to make ourselves in debt to the trust. You're going to run everything that goes on with the trust. You're just not going to own anything. Your trust owns it, but you're the one that controls the direction of what takes place. If there's going to be a buy or if there's going to be a sell, that's what you was entrusted for. You just don't own anything. You're protected in that way. You run the company. You don't own the company. Who owns the company? Null and void. They created it. They're gone. They're out the equation. That's how this thing works. The only person to be left with is the person that runs it. Can't get in trouble because you don't own it. The owner can't get in trouble because they left all the power and control to you. So if he was the actual paperwork called the trust, the creator of the trust said, hey, I created it, but I don't control none of the decision making. They come to me, hey, I control the decision making, but I ain't created. See that? Now we in a quandary. And this quandary was created on purpose to protect you from certain taxes and for you to be able to protect the asset. Most importantly, we're going to go back to you, protecting you. Okay? So this is spiritualities. If you go in your dictionary, look up the word spiritualities. It's the property or revenue generated by the church or the clergy. It's a fact. Spirituality is the ability to generate revenue or acquire property. The more property you get, the more spiritual you are. I don't make up these words and terms. You look it up, you'll see it. I don't make none of this stuff up. This is why I say these words and terms so you can look it up. Say, damn, spirituality is property generated, or revenue generated, or property acquired. This is what spiritualities are. Look up the word spiritualities. You'll see this. They taught you one form of spirituality where you give the money so they can get the property, where you give the money so they can generate revenue. You think you're doing the spiritual thing. No, they're doing the spiritual thing because they're generating the revenue that you give them and they're buying property from the revenue that you made for them. This is how this works. Your form of spirituality, you think you're going to get something intangible. And it's a bowl, milk and honey, and pearly gates. And I'm not here to antagonize you. I'm just telling you, based on the words that you're using them horribly wrong. And if you use the words wrong, then your drive and your incentive to execute the way you need to is going to be vain. It's going to be messed up. All right. So we got to take back control of the words. And this is why, like, animals are 3 blind. We're 4 blind. So you see how when we count to 5, we normally draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we cross it 5. The reason why we do that is because we have, as human beings, hard time seeing anything past 4. It becomes ambiguous after 4. So we're 4 blind. Some animals are 16 blind. Some animals are 8 blind. You feel me? Some animals have an easy time seeing everything in 8. After 8, it's ambiguous. Some animals after 16 is ambiguous. With humans, we're 4 blind. Or 5 blind, pardon me. So once we go past 4, we start staring a little harder to make sure we're not missing nothing. So you get 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 strokes, 4 strokes, and 5. Same thing with language. We've been educated to understand words 3 syllables downward. So long as it's made up of 1, 2, maybe 3 syllables, we're receptive to it. When it's 3 syllables upward, it becomes a little difficult. So if it's amelioration or restitution of properties, we got amelioration and restitution of properties, we start falling asleep. This class gets ridiculous. And other than that, then they give you acronyms. So you can still fall into that syllabate type of construct. Okay, so they'll tell you QSIP, and it'll be Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. But it's almost like a bunch of syllables for one word, because the word would be QSIP. So they use acronyms and 4 and 5 syllable words to shut us down, because the level of education that we get is constructed in such a way that we only get 3 syllables downward with the vocabulary that we're given. So we start tuning out when it's 4 syllables and 5 syllable words. It's just true. They got this whole thing figured out. So that's why when you start hearing those new words and those new terms, and they put up all these different acronyms, you start growing uncomfortable. Like, man, you know, this is hard, because your brain isn't used to assimilating and processing data in that of that level. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just telling you all the tricks that's going on in the middle of all this education. You know, there's a lot of grimy, shady things taking place. You think you just having a problem because something wrong with you. No, they thought this thing out. They're just going to educate us in our areas a certain way and make sure they educate their children a certain way. And then when you grow into wealth, you learn certain things by default. So we're not growing into wealth. Then everyone's kind of starting from scratch when we learn, and we may fail along the way. And therefore, there's no information being passed down from one generation to the next. So when there's no inherited wealth, you don't inherit the vocabulary that corresponds with the wealth. Just true. So now we find ourselves here on YouTube, here on Facebook, doing our best to share with you information that most people already said, man, I'm tuning out. There's no rumors or speculations of anyone doing anything gay or disrespectful. There's no cons going on. There's nothing negative going. We don't got time for that. No one's talking about defeating the beast, the cracker putting a foot on his neck. I ain't got no time for this. So you guys are the elite few today that when I know I put up something like this, I know my followers, I want to learn. Okay? And so we do these programs for y'all. And when we do get a little bit into the tricky stuff, we just do it to build enough momentum. So when we do the tricky stuff, we could trick those tricky people into learning this information one day. They realize they've been wasting their time with all the gossip. That's the only reason. So there's a lot to share. This was just an introductory class. There's so much to cover. I know when we're done, my brother's going to be like, damn, I should have said that. You know, because that's the vibe I get every time I'm done with a class. I say, man, I would love to have said this, that, and the other. But then I also learned I said exactly what needed to be said for the individuals that came on at that particular time. It's your responsibility to take from this information, go forward and build. But you definitely need to trust. Okay, you go to ironbrotherpolite.com. You want to protect your assets, understand the significance of the trust. And then once you understand that you will be in debt to the trust, I don't say your trust, but you understand it's your trust. I don't use the wrong term. Just like addendum, that's an extended portion of a contract. But then when we deal with UCC, you say you make an amendment. You don't say you make an addendum. It's just appropriating words and terminologies, right? Whenever you want to make a change in UCC, you do that in the UCC 3. The UCC 1 is a financing statement. Once you establish a relationship with you and the trust, then what you're going to do from there is say, okay, you're going to put the trust as the creditor, put yourself as a debtor, or maybe you have an LLC. So you put the trust as the creditor and the LLC as the debtor, and you put yourself as the trustee there. You would establish all those relationships. Then if you're buying property from someone or someone's going to owe you something or you're going to collateralize something like, hey, if you don't pay me this, I get this in exchange. Something like a mortgage. You don't fulfill your mortgage obligation, we're going to take the property. This is what they say. Remember, mortgage. Mort means death, gage means pledge. So there's a pledge to pay something until you die. Most people are going to get a house around the age of 33, 35 years old on average. That's when they calm down, finally get a house. Your lifetime expectancy is about 71, 72 years old. You're going to get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So presuming that you actually are able to pay for those 30 years straight, you'll be on the verge of death by the time you actually pay. And they also hypothecate the mortgage. And we know hypothecation means to dig or hold in the ground. And foreclose means to cast the spirit or kick out. So when we look at the word mortgage, it means pledge till you die. We look up hypothecation, it means to dig, bury, or put in a hole. And then we look at foreclosure, it means to cast away, because they kick you out of the house, but they cast you away like you're a spirit. And then if you don't follow through and getting kicked out of your own home, then they summons you like a spirit to court. You feel what I'm saying? They summons a spirit. I don't make this stuff up. I take the time out. I be really reading a lot, right? And I feel weird because I be around people who don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Quite often. So I got to come out here to the world and see which one of y'all care about what I'm saying. Because this is the basic information. There's some really interesting data that really shows you what the sorcery behind foreclosures or the real estate schema of things. You know, get that book, Stocks and Bonds, on ironbrotherpolite.com. I really show you the mechanics behind it. Like there's really some witchcraft being employed. And I'm not spooky, but you see it even in the words, what they're doing to people, how the job is to really kill you. But think about it. Anything that's going to make you go into debt voluntarily for 30 more years, you shouldn't even pay for. But I tell people the biggest scam in the world, in America particularly, is student loan and buying houses. The houses are way too expensive. They're not worth that amount of money. But the problem is, you got so many different parties making money. You got the financial institution, okay? Then you got the people brokering the deal, helping you get approved of the loan. That's 2/3 of it. Then you got what you get in charge, 3/3. So those properties are normally multiplied 3 times in value by the time you start paying mortgage. And then they hypothecate the mortgage. And overseas, they sell them in these investment baskets or these hedge funds because you can do it an innumerable amount of times outside of America. So they mix it up with all sorts of other investments to get people to invest in it. And there goes the conditional interest. And everyone's making money off your debt obligation except for you. And they solicited the seller of this property not on normal terms, but through subprimes, where they did the analytics to study your mother's education, your father's education, the level of their spending history. They study your spending history, your level of education, what zip code are you located in, and they've made a determination you can't afford anything that's over $100,000 on a mortgage if you was to put down 20%. So they say, since you can't afford nothing over $100,000, we're going to make sure that we sell you only things over $100,000, because if you go into default, they'll get paid quicker than if you pay for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, because they can write that off. Okay, if you go into debt, because they have what you call what? Sureties. So you got these guys signing these things off. Every time you make those pledges or those agreements, those death pledges, you got a surety here. And who's the one that's paying for your flawed mortgage endeavors? People that die in Iraq or Afghanistan, and also prisoners, as they pay their debt back to society. The debt that they pay back to society is through flawed mortgage endeavors. That's the debt they pay back through working for free. That's why the labor is free. When you study the Constitution, they tell you that slavery is abrogated unless duly convicted of a crime. Now, we can enslave you on purpose. We can make you work for free. So you have these modern day slaves, prisoners, who pay or sign a bid bond, payment bond, and performance bond, which tax security. Okay, so people that's in prison is paying for your flawed mortgages. So it's crazy, because I fuck around, lose my house, part of my language. I mess around, lose my house, commit a crime because I'm losing my mind because I lost my house. Now I'm incarcerated, paying for someone else's house. That's the paradox. We got to get you out of that equation. I'm telling you, take the time out and really study this thing for what it is. Complaining about how bad white people are, you can get that off in 3 to 5 minutes. And if you spend 3 to 5 minutes, you spend 3 to 5 minutes more than you needed to, because we don't really need someone to talk to us for 2 hours about how great we are because of our melanin, and how the sun is killing somebody else on the earth. Because guess what? We living under the sun in poverty. They living under the sun and they having problems living under the sun. But they're living good under the sun while they're having problems with the sun. We living bad under the sun while we have no problems with the sun. I don't think we should be bragging yet. I hope that made sense to y'all real quick. So I'm just saying a lot of stuff. I wish I had more time. Just wanted to give you a rundown, free class over here. Just building with you. Go to IamBrotherPolite.com for the books on real estate and economics. We also have books on metaphysics, but Sovereign Bible. I always incorporate both. We call it Kuwina Agunu in the language that I created in our culture. Indu Asusu, which means living language. Kuwina Agunu means spiritual economics. That's what it is, because we get spirituality from being financially free. The more financial freedom you have, the more time you have to read, meditate, pray, travel the world, spend time with your family. We live in a capitalistic construct. You're only going to get your spiritual freedom if you get financial freedom. So we call it Kuwina Agunu, granted the circumstances. It's not that money is the whole thing in our world. We just learned that we have to use it as a catalyst to get to where we need to go metaphysically. But we have to prioritize. So you really do need to learn how to get this bread. Hit me up at brotherpolite45@gmail.com. When you're interested in mentorship, always leave your first, last name, and your phone number. Never email without leaving your phone number. Always leave your first, last name, and your phone number. We'll touch base with you as early as today, if you send it real quick tonight. First ones we'll contact into tomorrow morning. It costs, but it's worth it, and we'll go as hard as we can. I'll give it back to you on closing notes. I'm just throwing information out. Take the notes. I'll put it into better order next time we get here. I just want to spend some time real quick and connect with y'all, because the love is there.
And I just want to tell you fellas that, or people, that the gold is inside you. You got to seek and you shall find, but it's inside you already, and I mean, for you guys to know that you guys are on this channel for this reason. And I mean, at this point, now is this time for you guys to pour into what's already in you, which is already wealth. So just let's join, let's build. Brother Polite, he's definitely giving you guys a different glimpse. So pour into everything that he got to say, because it's the truth and it's the light. So I mean, again, you guys are here for that reason, and you guys know it because that's why you're here. So once you understand your purpose, everything else automatically develops.
Thank you again. So it's brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. If you're interested in the mentorship program, that's brother POLIGHT45 Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. If you're interested in the mentorship program, give me your full name, your phone number. Say I'm interested in that mentorship program. We'll let you know the pricing and the details and see if we get you up and running. For the books and associated DVDs, you're going to go to IamBrotherPolite.com. You're interested in the course. I already have the course up there for $120. We're going to do 3 days, probably going to throw in an extra day course. What's the name of the book you mentioned? Stocks and Blondes. You could go to Stocks and Blondes. We need Jeffrey to put out a book, man. I want to work with this brother, man. He got a lot of tools. We just got to use our gifts to give the people everything that they need. So hopefully we're going to put our gifts together, you know, and get that out. Because this man is a genius. He's very humble. So he's just sitting here. I'm telling you, once he starts going in, I'm like, hold on. Then we just got to make sure we understand it because he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. And this is, like he said, this is my world. This is what I'm used to. But I think he did an exceptional job because one thing he did that a lot of people who do this YouTube thing quite often, that they don't do that good, is answer the questions. Because every question I asked him, he definitely had no problem answering. And this is very good because he also was able to answer in a way for the neophyte, for the new brother and the new sister who's totally oblivious to all this information. It was very good that he was able to really communicate to us on that level. And if he had to build with you on an accelerated level, which is the goal to coach you to that point, because that's what they do. They present it to you accelerated so you can just get discouraged straight from the gate. So it's great when you got your brothers here that take the time out of their schedule, because he's a busy man, very successful, doing his thing. I asked him, can you do me a favor and just see if you could put out a few classes here and there? And I said, you know, I believe you should be compensated. Give some free classes to the people, undoubtedly, because that's just what it is. And let them use it for whatever they can use it for. But then give them some accelerated classes, and I see to it that we can get the recompense for it to qualify his time and energy. Because you paid $20,000, $30,000 for a student loan, you still didn't get nothing they promised you. So you shouldn't have a problem, you know, compensating my brother here. So we'll do a real estate / day trading course. It's going to be amazing. It's there. Go to IamBrotherPolite.com. We're going to rock it Sunday to Sunday to Sunday. We'll start off with real estate first. And my brother will have the time to create what he needs for his presentations. He'll be ready and on deck, not this weekend, following weekend, correct?
Yes.
So by the following weekend, he'll be ready. But I'm going to start you off Sunday on the strength. On the strength. But the focal point is going to be the day trading, because a lot of us don't know about it, and it's very, very beneficial to us. And I just want to thank the brother for even taking the time out of his busy schedule to come over during this evening to share this kind of information for absolutely free. He done took the time out and spent the years into studying, went through the pitfalls of gaining money, losing money, learning as he goes. And now you get the cheat code, you get to copy off his paper during test time. And I was one of those people you couldn't copy off my paper. I studied all day, all night. Yo, come on, man. Come on, what? You know, I was the fighting smart student. So you couldn't bully me out of my answers. I was like, yo, bro, I studied last night. I used to get people pissed off. But now we're older. This is a little bit different, and we understand we all been cheated. So there can't be no cheating if we share the information. So again, you always got to be grateful for people who know what they're talking about, and it's very valuable information. Very humble brother at that. Let's give this brother Jeffrey the number 9. If you appreciate what he put forth and what he's about to put forth, because he's going to go in beast mode during that course. Give him a number 9, family, and let him know that the love is in there. The love is in the room. Support this brother. And I mean, he's not doing it for money. I know he was going to do it for free. I propose, let people patronize for it so the appreciation is there. But let's give them also free classes online. So there's a combination that takes place. Those who can't afford it, they can take what they can get from the free classes. We will not hold nothing back. Those that pay for the class, it would only be a continuation from the free classes, so it can be accelerated by that time. So we don't have to waste time with the beginning portions. So that way everybody wins. But you know, people should be compensated for the time that they put in, and the information that he has is truly invaluable based on how much you can benefit from it. So there goes the 9s. Appreciate y'all, man. I mean, they appreciate you. They go to nines. Nah, I didn't tap the white girl's ass. See, the only problem with having these overcrowded classrooms, there's always the children that just get left back all the time. There's always, you 30 people graduate, 31 was in the classroom. It's just one person who cannot stay focused. While everybody here is having a good time, there's always a few people that got to turn around. Look, Negro put 6. We ain't said nothing about no damn 6. That's okay, though. We love you. 9, never give up. That's right. Laugh out loud. You know that. There's always one child that makes the teacher feel bad. After 30 people graduate, it's just that one child. You be like, how come I couldn't get to him? I learned not to beat myself up about that. Pause. Okay, so we doing good over here. No child left behind. We don't have to leave his ass behind. It's all good. I ain't block him. It's love. Yeah, that sucks. Get left behind. Then they blame others and cry about scams. That's true. Whole time we got the information. Whole time you getting it for free. And you still find people. But I'll tell you this chat room is extremely positive. I'm looking at everything. We love you, polite. And the handsome guy you got on. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Cut it out. He's a married man. But yeah, that's good, man. I appreciate y'all. You getting me through work, brother. That's what's up. I'm glad you're getting this information during work. Jacksonville, Mississippi's here. Cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. I saw somebody say they're from Guyana here too. We got Guyana in the building. Real spit brothers. They loving it. We love to get your mentorship. I am in Australia. Is that possible? See, we got the whole world over here, man. We got Guyana. We got Australia. Somebody from Mississippi. Write down where you from if you in the chat right now before we close. Do you accept white students? That's like, so long as the money looks the same way, why not? This is not, I'm doing this for the people. But damn it, we gonna use the monies to help elevate our people. So no, we ain't gonna turn you down for this. This is not like the exclusive black thing. We just doing it on a black platform because that's the target audience. Oh no, you're not denied. Come get this information. Otherwise, front and portray yourself as a black person. Put up a black face. There's a username and trick us. I'm sure somebody's doing it anyway. Yeah. Where are you guys from? Miami. I just came from there. Australia. New Zealand. Guyana. Look at that, man. We all over. Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, Brooklyn. I was hoping Brooklyn was here. Baltimore. Miami, Florida. We don't got nobody from Chi-Town in here. That's where my brother's from right now. Columbus, Ohio. Phoenix, Arizona. Detroit. This is powerful, man. We got to use this internet era. No doubt, True Seeker, you're welcome. UK, we got some London cats up in here. Nebraska, that's what's up. The beauty about this is having Trinidad. There you go. Where do you know? Like, I would have never imagined this 15 years ago, that I would be able to talk to so many of my people all over the world at one shot. You just reach how many different people all over the globe? Buffalo, New York, Chicago, there you go. We got some Chi-Town. Now we in New Jersey, went from Midwest. I'm from Europe, Atlanta, Ohio, Hawaii. Look at that, man. Tampa Bay, Florida, Queens. There you go. Houston, still seeing different places. Nashville, Brooklyn. That's what we talking about. Another person from the Chi-Town. There we go. South Carolina. Man, the love is there. Good to know we all over the world. California. Dang, we ain't see that one yet. Word. East St. Louis. Yeah, man, this is a real good vibe. North Philly in the house. I see you. New Orleans, I see you. Phoenix, Arizona. Y'all in the building. Y'all on Facebook and you on YouTube. Toledo, Ohio. We got you. Oakland. We ain't see that one yet. Caribbean. St. Martin. Got you. We in the Caribbean now. There we go. There we go. Haiti. I see you. Got somebody in Haiti out here. These are different time zones, and all of us got our minds united on this economics. So it makes it worthwhile doing this for free. Don't you feel good, my brother, just seeing how many of our people's all over the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You just did your people a huge service, man. Look at that. And we'll be walking down the block and can't reach one of our brothers or sisters. But this makes me feel good at the end of the day because it's not lost. Chester, I see you. Okay, family. So they call me Snitching Chris in Phoenix. What the fuck is that? What is that about, man? Hey, from Chicago. We got another person from Chi-Town in there. There we go. So Facebook, y'all been amazing. Go to IamBrotherPolite.com. We're up and running. We good. We settled out with PayPal. We're great. Worked out an agreement. We're actually using them again. It's a good day. It's a good day. I'm so excited about it. Thank you, thank you. Thank y'all, man. Y'all been extremely positive. You know, I'll get back into the debates, but you know, this is some very important information. Be sure to share this information with other people. Share this information with your brothers and with your sisters. Share this information, okay? It's absolutely free. Tell them you need to take the time out and figure this out, family. Peace. I see Chicago over there. Now y'all repping. I see y'all. I see y'all. Philly, I see y'all. So I'm going to talk to y'all later. Southside Chicago. What part of Chicago are you from?
What's that? Southside? The Hundreds.
Oh, Wild Hundreds.
Wild.
Yeah, I know about the Wild Hundreds. I had set up a bookstore in there. Then I set up my publishing company over there. Wow, Wild Hundreds, huh? They ain't listening though. Nah, we ain't debating that young brother. He too uptight, man. You don't like when people laugh at him. We're gonna move forward. We want to keep this focused on the economics. Okay, we're closing out. Thank you. Guantanamo Bay. Wow. Forex Trading Club. Come on, man. Cut it out. We closing out. I'm see y'all later. Y'all ain't gonna stop. Thank you, brothers. Much appreciated. Portia, thank you for listening and making it worthwhile. I'm gonna do some debates. I normally like to do 2 a year. You see the new clip I posted today. I was really missing those days, being on the streets, going hard and taking it into the forum. I think I'm coming out of retirement, family. I think I'm coming back out. Got my shout out after 2 years. That's what's up, 2N1P. Do you like white women with blonde hair and blue eyes? Stay focused, soldier. Yo, let me leave y'all alone. Y'all don't know how to stop. Okay. Dang, I ain't did this in so long. I don't know how to stop this. Oh, okay. This is where I gotta stop it at. Broadcast. See y'all later. Peace.